How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's TheSketchMonkey here. Now, BMW just revealed the new 2021 BMW 4 Series, a car that I know we've all been waiting to see if it's true. Are they going to put the big grills on there? And yes, they did. And honestly, I'm going to let you know my opinion about that later in this video. But first, I want to talk about the spec and tech about this car, the price here in the US, and the engine options and the options in general. So, the new BMW 4 Series here for 2021 is set to go on sale here in the US in October of 2020. And the starting price for the 430i will be $45,600, and for the 430i xDrive, it jumps up to $47,700. For the M440i, which is going to be the top model for this 4 Series now until, of course, M4 comes out, that will cost $58,500, and that's for the M440i xDrive. And this car, it grew on all levels. It's 5.2 inches longer than the previous 4 Series, 1 inch wider, 0.4 inches taller, 1.6 inches longer wheelbase, 1.4 inches wider track in the front, and 1.2 inches wider track in the rear. So it literally grew on all fronts. So what are the engine options for the new 4 Series? The 430i and the 430i xDrive will come with a 4-cylinder 2-liter twin turbo engine, producing 255 horsepower at 5,000 RPMs and 294 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 will take 5.5 seconds for the 430 and 5.3 seconds for the 430 xDrive. These both will have 8-speed automatic transmission with launch control. For the M440i xDrive, we have a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder twin turbo engine producing 382 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, and 0 to 60 here takes only 4.3 seconds. I can't wait to see the time of the new M4 if the 440 already does 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. And this, of course, also has an 8-speed automatic with launch control. In addition to that, what you get in the M440i xDrive here is weight-optimized pistons and connecting rods, and from an exhaust manifold integrated into the cylinder head, allowing for better thermal efficiency from the integrated water cooling passages. You also have an M Sport differential on the M440i. Some of the standard equipment that you have in the new 4 Series is lane departure warning with steering correction, frontal collision, pedestrian warning with braking function, blind spot detection, rear cross traffic alert, rear collision preparation, automatic high beams, and speed limit information. You also have BMW's intelligent personal assist, standard iDrive 7 with navigation and new BMW Maps, and of course Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Some of the options include level 2 autonomous driving assist, which of course allows for extended hands-free vehicle operation. Now, with that said, let's jump in and let's talk about what's really important here, the design. So how does this compare to the 4 Series Coupe or the Concept 4 that they showed at the Frankfurt Auto Show, I think a year ago or something like that? The thing about that concept to me is that I think what they did is to provoke this new design feature, which is the grille, to the max, so that when the real 4 Series here comes out, we're not surprised by it, and it's not as aggressive as it was on the Concept 4, because they kind of wanted to introduce this with a bang and then bring it back a little bit for production so that we know what to expect, but still it's not as extreme as it was with the Concept 4. And specifically what made it so extreme in the Concept 4 is that big, bold, thick frame that goes around the grille in silver added to that, which is in contrast to the body color, and that just made it pretty obvious that that was where they wanted the attention to go on the Concept 4, and then they just toned it down a little bit for production. Yes, they did add the big grille in the front. This is going to be very polarizing for sure. To me, personally, I think this is definitely a step in the right direction, and not just with the grille. It's about the entire car and even the proportions of the car. So let me explain. If you watched my previous video, which was about the BMW X6, and before that I talked about the BMW X5, there's been a lot of BMW lately here on the channel, but what I said in the X6 video is that BMW has now, I feel, reached a peak where they can't style the car anymore. And what I mean by that is you can't just add more lines and creases into the body of the car, because you already have so much of that in the BMW X6, which I think was the peak of that sort of design language. And I think I was right about that, because looking at the 4 Series here, just look at how less busy it is all around the car, even in the shoulder line. If you look at this from a profile view, you can see that the lines are much less busy than we're used to seeing from pretty much all manufacturers right now. We still have a few styling cues, such as that cut right in the front fender, which is fine because that actually goes into the A-pillar, which you can see. If you follow that line, you can see that it follows the A-pillar and goes down there. And then you have that sweeping line that is the lower part of the line, but that also continues into the bumper and into the front bumper as well. So it goes all around the front bumper, through the side and into the rear, which is fantastic. That is one of these lines that I always look for in cars, and their styling is at least one single line that is continuous all around the car, and we definitely have that here. So the BMW 4 Series here comes in 2 different trim levels. You have the M Sport package, which is the blue one, and then you have the sort of normal package, which is the white one. And just compare this rear view of the regular 4 Series, the rear view of it, and compare it to the BMW X6 and what I said in that video about messy lines and plastic pieces sticking out everywhere. This feels like the same feeling I had as I talked about the original X6 in the rear. It's a breath of fresh air. We're going back to take it easy on the styling and take it easy on adding unnecessary plastic bits and pieces onto the car, and bring back the graphic design of each brand and combine that with a solid proportion that will determine or define the identity of each car manufacturer. You have the proportions of the car, and inside of these proportions you have strong graphic design. And I think that's exactly what's happening here. And more so, that's exactly what's happening with this front end, which of course they decided to go with this big grille, which by the way isn't anything new for BMW. They've had this since the 30s with, for example, the 1934 BMW 303, the 1938 328, the 39 321, and even the 1940s 327. They all had this type of big, large vertical grills. And to me, this is just an evolution of that. They went to the smaller one, more horizontal grills for a pretty long time, a few decades, but now they're coming back to the original styling of the 30s. And honestly, if you look at this grill here, it really isn't that big when you compare it to other car manufacturers. The only thing that differentiates this grill is that it's separated in the middle, and that of course has everything to do with the BMW brand. But if you, for example, compare this to the Audi Q7, and we have the Chevy Trailblazer, the 2021 model, huge grills, and the Lexus LS500, and of course the king of the hill is the Toyota Avalon TRD, which pretty much does not even have a front. It's just a big, massive black hole that looks like a whale that can swallow you if you come too close to it. So this BMW here with this new grille, as I said, I'm a huge fan of it, and I'm really excited, not just for the grille, which is a cool design feature in my opinion, and it's going to separate BMW from every other car manufacturer because they're going all in on their graphical features now. But not only that is cool with this new 4 Series, it's just that they are starting to look at their styling and really think about, have we taken this too far? Can we really do anything else since the BMW X6 here? And the answer is yes, you can, but then it's just not going to make any sense or have any meaning in the design. So I'm glad that they're taking it a step back and focusing on the graphical identity of who they are and combine that with beautiful proportions.